Hello everyone, you are welcome to Generations Gist with Joy. I am your host, Joy Onu. Today we are turning up the volume on a conversation that hits the right notes. Yes, we are talking about music and media and how they shape our world, influence generations and stir emotions. And guess what? I've got the perfect guest for this gist. It's going to be an impactful conversation right after this short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
The world is no longer a global village. It is a neighborhood. Generations come and go, but the gist they start lingers. The platform that sustains those gists is here. Be a part of the conversation on Generation Gist with Joy. From policymakers to politicians, medical personnel to traders, labor leaders to students, the young and the old. It's Generations Gist with Joy.
It's your generation, it's my generation, it's our generation.
Come, let's tag along on Generation Gist with Joy. Please join us.
You are welcome back to Generations Gist with Joy. News informs, music inspires. From past legends to today's viral hits, they define trends and values. But the question remains, are they empowering or misleading? Are young people getting the right message? Is journalism speaking the truth or just fueling trends? And is music a tool for empowerment or just for entertainment? We'll explore all of this and more with our special guest, a seasoned broadcaster, a talented musician, and a man whose voice has echoed through both the airwaves and the altars. Trust me, you don't want to miss the wisdom and the rhythm he's bringing to the table. I welcome to the studio a man known and respected in the broadcast world as Reuben Okala, but known on stage simply as Saint Reuben.
I'm in love with your intro already.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Let us start with your latest project. Your music. You just released a new music titled Breaking News. What inspired you? And what are your listeners actually expecting to know from that music? You can just brief us more about it.
Yeah, talking about breaking news. Breaking news actually was in 2017, okay? But after that, I've done a lot of things, but breaking news seems to be in the front line up to now because of the impact it created at that particular time. And talking about breaking news, as a journalist and as a musician, music and journalism is all about passing information, okay? In music, you pass information. And in journalism, of course, you pass information. So, okay, I try to carve a niche for myself by saying, okay, how do I title this project now? Breaking news, and then it's stuck. So that's how that breaking news came about, and it was launched in 2017.
Okay.
And it attracted people from all walks of life, and it was really breaking news.
It was breaking news.
Yeah.
So what are people going to take from that breaking news? What is the message?
When there is a breaking news, it's about news that has not been heard before, okay? As a musician and as a broadcast journalist, I try to come up with something unique. Okay, first, for instance, I have broken 2 news that I'll never forget in my life.
Okay.
Number 1, Sosoliso air crash.
Okay.
That happened, I can't remember the year now. That it happened here. I was the first video journalist that went there.
Okay.
Okay. And I broke the news. And remember,
Okay.
your governors two daughters were there,
Yeah.
and two of them, nothing happened to them.
Yeah.
That's breaking
That's
news.
breaking
For
news.
air to crash, for a plane to crash, and two of your daughters got saved, nothing happened to them. That is breaking news on its own.
A lot.
Okay. Now another breaking news that I did was the very first bomb blast in Abuja, very close to Eagle Square. President Jonathan was there. It was May 29, and they were doing event there. In the morning before the event, there was a bomb blast there. That was the first bomb blast right in Abuja.
Okay.
In fact, I was in my house when my manager news, the map like called me and said that he had that there's something like a bomb blast somewhere. Then before I knew it, I jumped from my room and then got to Eagle Square and broke the news. For your information, it was my news that CNN, because I was there before CNN, I was there before any other media house.
Oh.
So it was my news that CNN got. All right. So, but by the time you watch CNN, you could see NTA written on it.
Okay.
That's me. So these two news that I broke is something that I'll never forget. All right. So that is how this concept of breaking news. And then talking about the gospel. Gospel is good news.
Yeah.
Anytime talking about the gospel, you're talking about the Bible, it is always breaking news because something new comes out of it. So that is this concept of breaking news that
so you married the gospel good news with the breaking news.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as I said earlier,
yeah,
music and broadcasting, they go together. It's all about communicating message to the audience.
To the audience.
Mass communication.
Oh, that is interesting. That is interesting. Gospel music clearly plays a powerful role in your life. How did that journey actually begin for you?
Okay, talking about how it all started. I don't want to say from birth like other people normally see, but I remember that my mother used to sing. Okay, they used to take us to church. Okay, but it didn't really click. But of course, it's in the blood. It was later in my life when I started working with NTA, Makori then. Then my boss, may he so rest in peace, Tom Abba, was my boss. He was the public relations officer of NTA while I was his assistant. He was a very great musician. He was a musician. I was a news person.
Okay.
He was a musician and a journalist. So you can imagine how I took after him.
Yeah.
So he used to bring guitar to the office. And then when he closes, you say, Reuben, take this guitar to my house. And I'll take the guitar to his house. And on my way, of course, I'll try to be strumming, blah, blah, blah. So he influenced me a lot in music. And then along the line, he formed a band called the Eagles Foundation.
Okay.
And then he taught me how to play drums. So I started as a drummer anyway. Okay. So that's how it started. And as they say, here we are.
Here we are, because I know you as is it playing a piano?
Yeah,
guitar?
Of course.
I never knew you play drums too.
No, I started as a drummer anyway.
Okay.
In the process, of course, I started as a drummer, okay, but I started learning guitar on the way, and so I play keyboard a little, I play guitar a little, but drums I really played it, and in my journey, I play with so many bands. I play with a group called the JC Connection. When I went to Jos, I play with Dorcas Bento. I play with Panam Percy Paul. Okay. Panam Percy Paul had a band, and we also had our own band called the Eagles Foundation. Anytime we jam, we always, do jam session. So I play with, and we traveled a lot in this country, everywhere. We've gone preaching the gospel and playing music, just like that.
Okay,
Yep.
I don't want to make it look more like spiritual like that, but it is part of what
And of course, my
what
life,
you
my
what you
life, my life is
actually
spiritual
are.
anyway.
So at what point did you like, I want to settle, because there's no need asking you whether it's a gospel music. I know you do gospel music actually. At what point did you like, I want to be born again, I want to come close to Christ, and I want to do it through music?
Okay, yeah. As I said earlier, my boss then, Tom Abba, he didn't start as a gospel musician.
Okay.
But by the time I met, he became my boss. He started playing gospel music. But before then, I used to go to a church called Church of God Mission. They just bought new equipment. That
Okay.
time, music was not popular in churches.
Okay.
But you know, Church of God is a Dahusa church. So they brought new equipment, and then that was my church. And then Tom in my office, because of me, we invited Tom to be teaching us instrument. That's how I became a drummer, actually. So, what as a Christian, what kind of music else? What kind of music can I do apart from gospel music? I can't see myself doing any other thing apart from gospel music. So that's how the two came about.
There are a lot of Christians who are doing secular music anyway.
Yeah, in fact, many of them, if 100% of, you know, actually, music is music.
Yeah.
It is what
the message
you decide to do. Exactly. There are so many musicians who are making it secular music and gospel music. It is what you want to do. Okay. And as I said earlier, music is all about passing messages. You may decide to pass your own message by saying, "Baby, I love you. Baby, I love you." That's the message you want to pass across. Fine. You may, in fact, musicians like Dan Mariah Jos was a great musician. What message was he passing? He was doing proverb, and he was communicating message of love, godly living, and the rest of them. So it is what you decide to do. I decided to do gospel music and nothing else.
That is interesting. As I want to bring you back to the Fogmon.
We are Fogmon, yeah.
Fogmon, and you are the Abuja chapter chairman of Fogmon. What are some of the major goals and initiatives you are driving forward in the gospel music community?
Okay, actually, Fogmon is Fellowship of Gospel Music Ministers of Nigeria. It is aggregation of all gospel musicians in Nigeria, even though we have branches all over the world now. Okay, but it's basically for gospel musicians in Abuja. In fact, we are in about 28 states now. Okay, it's about bringing all the gospel musicians together in one room to discuss their objectives, help ourselves, connect with ourselves, pray with ourselves, and see how we can together promote gospel music. Okay, all right. Actually, it was 2019 that I became the Abuja chapter chairman. Okay, it was an election, and I won the election, and then 3 years I ruled for 3 years until another election, and I handed over to another. So I'm no more the Abuja.
You are no more the chairman.
If after me, 2 or 3 others have even become chairman, but I'm still like an elder.
Yeah.
Okay. I still go there. Everything still continues. Okay. So talking about Fogmon, it's all about bringing all gospel musicians under one umbrella to foster unity, to foster understanding, and to see how we can help ourselves to grow the gospel music
in Nigeria.
in Nigeria, and as I said earlier, we now have chapters in the US, in UK, and Canada. We have Nigerian musicians who are there, and they are promoting gospel music under Fogmon as well.
And they are actually doing well in Nigeria, promoting gospel music and propagating the message of gospel music.
Exactly. And Dr. Panam Percy Paul is the chairman of the board of trustees.
Okay.
Dr. Asu Ekie is the international president. Reverend P from Enugu is now the national president of Fogmon.
Okay.
Okay, so it is a well structured organization, and here and there.
Yeah, actually, do you believe, gospel music has the power to actually influence culture, promote healing, and unite Nigerians, especially in this time?
Yeah, you see, as I say at a point, every music has its own message. Okay. And I mentioned Damaraya of Jos that time. He's dead now. Sure. He has his own message. He preaches love, preaches unity, okay, in his own way. There's also a musician called Mama Shata. Okay. I don't know whether you remember that name.
I don't know.
He's from Katsina also.
Okay.
He has his own kind of music. Okay. Davido has his own kind of music. Sure. Preaches love, talking about a lot of them. Okay. Two-Face, he has his own kind of music. Love, R&B, African Queen. When you mention Two-Face, you're talking about love, women, and all that. Of course, gospel music is nothing but propagating the gospel of Jesus Christ through music. The lyrics are Bible. The lyrics, the musicians, the message, everything is about propagating the gospel of Jesus Christ. And what are we talking about? Gospel is good news, okay? And there are testimonies of people singing and miracles happen, okay? People singing and people are blessed. Testimonies of somebody wanting to commit suicide and listen to gospel music change his or her mind. That gospel music is potent, is powerful, because you are talking the mind of God. Okay? So it is potent, it's effective, and it drives home the message of the gospel.
And you actually, I said whether it promotes, heal, and unites Nigeria. Do you believe, I'm still talking about the influence, especially on the young people, with all that is actually happening right now all over the world. I won't say Nigeria alone. Do you think gospel music is actually sinking into our young people?
In Fogmon, majorly we're talking about gospel, but we also preach peace as well. We preach peace, we preach unity, we preach togetherness. In fact, we even released a song called Peace Song. What is that peace song talking about? Talking about, in fact, it's dedicated to Nigeria, talking about peace, the need for Southerners, Northerners, Westerners, and all of us coming together to promote peace. Okay? And as I said again, it is about passing the message to people. And of course, it heals. Music itself, whether gospel or whatever, it has a healing instrument. Okay? When Michael Jackson was reigning, during his concert, people, I don't say fall under the anointing.
They will cry.
People be crying.
Emotions.
Exactly. So you can see how powerful. Music. Okay, let me give you an example of in the Bible, David and Saul.
Exactly.
Saul was in trouble. Demons filled his brain. He was in trouble. But when he brought a man called David, David was just playing his molo. We call it molo, right? Violin. As he was playing, demons were coming out of Saul, and Saul was delivered. That shows how powerful music. So music is a powerful tool for unity. It's a powerful tool for love. Music is everything good. Music is godly. I can even say that if it was Panam who told us, say, even God must be a musician. God loves music as well. Exactly.
Okay, enough of the music thing for now. Now let's talk about your other big passion,
all right,
journalism. You've had such a rich and dynamic career. Okay, what would you say were some of the most defining moments? Although you've talked about the breaking news of this thing from your time of NTA to now at Kaftan TV.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a long journey anyway. I remember those days when I finished my secondary school long time ago. That time it was only NTA. Okay. Gen Z will not understand that NTA used to start at 4 o'clock and close at 12 o'clock. And then on Saturday, maybe they open in the morning, like that. So, but now it's 24 hours.
Sure.
Okay. Now, when I finished my secondary school, I came to Makurdi.
Okay.
And then, of course, in the evenings, there's nothing to do apart from watching TV. Because TV is a new thing. Having come from the village to town, we watch TV every day. And I don't know how it happened. 9 o'clock news used to be 15 minutes first before it entered, become 30 minutes and then 1 hour. And now sometimes even 1 hour, 30 minutes. Now, there were reporters at that time that they used to report, and I used to admire them. Sirius Tuba, Ruth Benemesia Opa, Yinka Kray, all those veterans, big one. It's literally I joined NT to meet them anyway. So I used to mimic them. In the morning when I'm walking, I used to mimic them. I used to carry microphone on the streets. I'll be say, Yinka Kray. I used to mimic them. I used to enjoy it. So of course that grew my interest in journalism. I say, maybe one day I'll be there too. That kind of a thing. So, and as God will have it, my uncle that I stay with happens to know someone who knew the director general. Who knew the general manager of NTA Makurdi. And and then before I knew it, I was employed as office assistant in the public relations department. That's where Tom Abade, the one I talked about before. So I was employed there as office assistant in public relations office. I became public relations assistant. Wow. Here, this is NTA. Now, from NTA, for Makurdi, those that I used to see on their 7 o'clock news, and I can now see them live. Now. Like Peter Kumba, like Eugene Abu, like Tom Abba himself, like somebody, I've forgotten some of their names now. So I used to watch them myself. Now I can now see them live. Go to the newsroom and see all of them. Now, of course, my interest, I was not a reporter yet.
I know.
Okay? I was in public edition, but of course I used to take. Then one day, I saw an advert. News reporting course. Nigeria Institute of Journalism, JOS. I applied. before I knew, they gave me admission to go and do 6 weeks course in news reporting. Woo! I carried my load, went to Jos. I did 6 weeks course. When I returned back, it's a long journey. I hope you're following me. It's a long story.
A long story. We are here. We are here for you.
Now, when I came back, I still went to report at public relations department. Then, at a point, I said, let me apply to change to the newsroom.
Okay.
So I wrote my application. I say, I want to be converted from public relations to newsroom. My application was granted. Wow! So I changed to the newsroom. I started learning the rope of writing, press release, this and that, and then my interest grew, and of course I learned so fast that in 2 years I was posted to Government House as a Government House correspondent.
Wow!
The governor then was Lieutenant Colonel Fidelis Maka.
Okay.
The man is still alive up to now.
Yeah, that was a long time.
A long time, yes.
However, before we continue with the show, let us go on a short break.
Okay.
We will be right back. Please stay tuned.
All right.
The world is no longer a global village. It is a neighborhood. Generations come and go, but the gist they start lingers. The platform that sustains those gists is here. Be a part of the conversation on Generation Gist with Joy. From policymakers to politicians, medical personnel to traders, labor leaders to students, the young and the old. It's Generations Gist with Joy.
It's your generation, it's my generation, it's our generation.
Come, let's tag along on Generation Gist with Joy. Please join us.
You are welcome back, and this is Generations Gist with Joy. If you are just joining us, our guest today is Mr. Reuben Okala, Saint Reuben himself. Sir, we are really enjoying the story. Can we have a bit of it?
I applied to go to the newsroom.
Yeah.
And then I started learning the rope. Before I knew it, after 2-3 years, I was told to go and report in Government House as Government House correspondent. The governor then was Lieutenant Colonel Fidelis Maka.
Yes.
Okay. He was the military governor of
administrator then.
Minister Administrator, Benin State. Okay. And then during his time, we're traveling all over the local government to inspect projects. Okay, I was still learning the rope. When I come to the newsroom, the panel beat my story, put red biro. Ooh, I used to get annoyed, but that was learning process. And then, of course, at a point, I was brought back to the newsroom, do other corresponding work here and there. Let's fast track. Let's go forward, far forward. Then in 1991, that's when state was created. Yeah, I can't remember the exact date now. So me from Kogi part, I have to go to Lokoja. Yeah, Lokoja, another vast opportunity to start all over again because we're few with new equipment, with modern equipment. Yeah. Abubakar Audu was the governor that time. Okay. And before you know it, they posted me back to Government House again, and I became Government House correspondent for Abubakar Audu. It was another story altogether. We travel all over everywhere. Yeah. And of course, I started rising here and there and there and there. In Lokoja. My dream was to go to the network Abuja. Okay. But that dream, I don't know how, but it was very cumbersome. So, okay, let me see, as God will have it.
You made it.
As God will have it, it was possible for him to come to network, even though my general manager that time told me to my face and say, Reuben, you are not good enough for network. You are not good enough. Don't bother yourself to apply to. But I came to network, and a year after network, I saw the general manager came. He said, Reuben, I've been seeing your report and you have changed overnight. I said, Ogana, so at network here, of course, if you are good, you are good. If you are hardworking, you are hardworking. Of course, I was, let me not say I'm good, but people say I'm good, I'm good. Of course, I was hardworking, and by the grace of God, I try to be creative, to do things. That's the message I normally pass across to young ones. You have to be creative. You have to be extraordinary. If you do like others,
you add value.
No, what I'm trying to say is that if you do the way others are doing it, there's no value, there's no advantage.
Exactly.
Okay, but if you try to up your game and do what others don't do, you'll be rising.
Yeah,
that is the message. So that is it. So that is how before you know it, I was posted to. In fact, I crisscross every spheres. I covered information, I cover religion, I cover I cover. In fact, at the point when Villa correspondent, maybe on leave, I cover everywhere. I was everywhere. There's no news bulletin that my name will not be mentioned. The other question, how it happened that I came to Captain? You remember that question?
Yes, I did ask you. I said from your time of NTA to Captain, your experiences around those times.
Okay, yeah. So 2017, I retired after 35 years. Not age now. After 35 years, I had to retire. Okay, all right. And then they were looking for somebody to become a general manager of Captain. They were looking for, and behold, they saw me, and I was qualified for it, and that's how I'm here now. In fact, that's how I can qualify to be on your program.
Thank you so much. You are doing so well. You are doing so well in Captain. We all see what you are contributing to the growth of Captain. Of course, it's evidence. Yeah. Now, with all your experiences in broadcast media, now would you assess the current state of media ethics, and professionalism in Nigeria today? Because during your time, like you said, when you were discussing what you've done, how far you've gone, your journey, you were talking about if you write stories, you see red biro, sometimes they throw it in the trash.
Exactly.
So does that actually happen now? The ethics, are they following it to the letter? Given especially the online and whatever, because a lot of people online actually may not be journalists or are actually journalists themselves. So
I personally I have problem with a lot of people, a lot of media houses when it comes to ethics. Yes. When it comes to ethics, doing the right thing, especially these upcoming media houses. Okay, I came from NTA. Give it to NTA anytime, anywhere.
Sure.
Because you may say, oh, NTA is government, blah blah blah, but NTA, just give it to NTA when it comes to. You don't break news anyhow. You must make sure. You will hardly hear NTA apologizing for a wrong story, because we take our time to do it well.
Cross-check.
Okay, exactly, to cross-check the fact and know that this is real before you put it there. You don't jump into it like other media houses. Okay, talk about other media houses. No, they just do their thing. Let me be bold to say, Reuben Abati, Rufai, you know that they are not journalists. They read other things. Okay. They need to go back to school to go and do what they do there. I don't understand it. They cannot enter classroom and pass. They cannot enter mass communication class and pass it, because what they're just being sentimental. People are clapping for them quite okay, but if they go to academic class, they will not pass.
Why did you say so?
You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know what you are talking about, so I just want to
See
know
the way
where
they
you
harass
came
their
to.
guests.
Okay.
See the way they opinionate the issues.
Okay.
See the way they sit as if they are bosses. If you are a journalist, you are a journalist because you invited someone who is lower than you. You want to boss over your guest.
Okay.
Your guest is your guest. Treat your guest like your guest.
Okay.
Because you are a former commissioner or a former special advisor to the president, because you are talking down on your guest. Is that how to do it?
Oh.
No. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Now, you're talking about the social media. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is now a journalist. You carry your phone, anything you see, put it there. You don't observe the rule. It's wrong. So even if you do social media thing, you must do it with ethics in mind. You cannot afford to show dead bodies, blood on air. No. Even during Salah Ramadan, you cannot kill a goat or ram with blood like this. No. There are ethics to follow, but now anything goes.
But even on international communities, we see all those bloody looks on TV here and there. Don't you think so? I see them.
I can't remember.
Okay, during wars, Ukraine, all those places, and we see all those things.
They may warn you to say this picture you're about to see is so and so. Okay, so use your discretion to watch or not to watch. But generally speaking, they avoid anything that can induce your sentiments. Yeah. Okay, that is it.
Yeah. Okay, you've attended a lot of trainings, international workshops, and all of these things. What global lessons have stayed with you, and how have they shaped your work here?
Okay. Now, by the grace of God, well, I've traveled. I've not traveled much, but I've traveled. Okay. I've interviewed presidents. I've covered international events. Okay. And I try to compare the way we do our things and the way they do their things there. Okay. Even though we are far behind. Okay. We are far behind, but we're trying our best to go up. They are very, very high up there. Technology, training, everything. But of course, traveling to come back, of course, you learn a lot of things. Sure. Okay, the way they do their things. Okay, not that they are so knowledgeable more than us, because they have opportunity to work with modern equipment.
Access all of this.
Yeah, but we trying to come. It's an African thing. Okay, so we're trying our best.
In that case, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to cut you.
It's okay, go ahead.
In that case, in your view, how can we better prepare and equip our young generation in Nigeria, for journalism practice in Nigeria, with the lack of equipment and what have you? How are we going to equip or encourage our young ones to venture into journalism, given all those lapses we have around?
Okay, yeah. Remember, just 2 weeks ago, we tried to organize a training workshop in-house.
Okay.
So we do that all the time so that our people can be well equipped to face the challenges ahead. And training and retraining is apt. I still train.
Sure.
Okay. And I train others as well. Okay. So training it is. Because if you don't train, you are going back. Even if you are up there, you must train.
Sure.
So that you can be at par with other parts of the world. Broadcasting is dynamic now. And if you are not up to date, you may be doing something out of date. Okay. And we try to impact on the young ones who are coming up, so that they too should know what what it is to be a journalist or to be a broadcaster. All right. So that is it.
You wear many hats, you know.
Yeah,
many
hats.
station manager.
Even though I'm wearing one cap now, but
not this particular hat.
okay.
You wear a lot of hats professionally. Station manager right now at Captain TV.
Yeah.
You are an administrator, music leader. How do you manage all of these responsibilities and still stay creative to do your professional work and especially music?
Yeah, you see, the other day in this Captain, one of our presenters, news producer, I asked her, why don't you try to learn reporting? He said, no, the work is too much. You have lost. We have the opportunity to be jack of all trade and be master of all. It's possible. Okay? That is the training that we had. We thought that our bosses were overloading us with work, but we knew somehow that we are being trained for the future.
Yeah.
Okay? You cannot be a script writer and be a script writer forever. There was a time in my life I can carry camera and be the cameraman and be the reporter and be the script writer and be the driver to an event. What driver 1, script writer 2, reporter 3, and come home and edit the story myself. 4 or 5 roles to play to be able to go on air.
How were you able to manage all those things?
That is the training, the training and the passion. So if you do that, it will help you later in your life. That is why I can do what I'm doing now, because I learned it from onset to be able to combine a lot of things. So that's why I can be right now I'm an administrator. As I'm talking to you now, I can still do reports. As I'm talking to you now, I can still present. As I'm talking to you now, I can still drive. There's nothing I cannot do. If you give me a contract now to do a documentary, I can do everything by myself. I write the script by myself. I can do the camera. I can edit it by myself. Everything by myself. Is a training.
Yeah, from what you have said so far, what role should public media play in promoting national unity and public accountability?
You know, the role of the media itself, the traditional role given to it is to inform, to educate, and to entertain. Okay, so whatever you are doing, you are already doing the 3. Okay, but it is how you are doing it now that is the issue. So if you play your role well, you're already entertaining people. You're already promoting national unity. You're already informing people. You're already entertaining people. You're already educating people. So whatever you are dishing out to the people must be beautiful. And as you say on Captain TV, imagine a beautiful world. Okay, so the traditional role of the media is to entertain, to inform, and to educate. And you must do it well. And as I'm doing it, you're already impacting, you're already sending messages to mass. That's why we call it mass communication. Right.
You're sending messages to everyone.
Everybody.
That cares to listen. And you know why I asked you that question was what you just said about some bias, whatever, staying biased by some journalists. I could also see that even on international media, like before the election of President Trump and all those things, you could see some international media house have a stand with this particular person. This particular media have a stand with this particular candidate, and so on and so forth. So how will you reconcile that with what is happening in our own community, so if you localize it?
Okay, as you said, every human being is a political animal, right? both of us are in this business.
Yeah.
We are broadcasters, and inside your heart, you have you have you have sentiment for a political party.
We don't have an opinion here.
We don't have an opinion here, but inside of you, let's not hide from it.
Exactly.
Inside of you, you have a soft spot for a political party, but then you don't have to show it when you're on the. It's just like as a reporter, okay? You are a Christian. If you go to the mosque to report, you must do it well.
Exactly.
If you are a Muslim, you go to church as a reporter, as a broadcaster, you do it the way it's supposed to be. You don't as a Christian, I cannot go to mosque and then mock them because it's not my religion. No, that's not it. Even if if you go to cover a canker, you must do it the way it is done. Okay, go into your question now.
Just report it the way it is.
The way it is.
Yeah.
To answer your question now, if I'm not PDP, if I'm reporting PDP, that's why INEC has given guideline that you, even if you have more than 30 political parties, you must favor all of them. You must not report the other one better than the other one.
It mustn't be biased.
It must be biased. It must be neutral.
Yes.
And the fact that we have ruling party, that doesn't mean you must favor the ruling party as against the other small parties. No.
If you were not a journalist or a musician, which other paths or what other paths would you have taken?
Wow. If I was not a musician, if I was not a journalist, okay, let's say if I come back to this world again, I'll be a journalist and I'll become a musician.
Oh my God.
I don't know. Honestly, I've not thought about it. What will I have been? Kai, honestly, I don't know.
You don't know. You will still come back as a musician.
A musician and a journalist. I'm telling you.
Okay. What is one fun or surprising fact about you that most people don't actually know? You know, today, we are talking about St. Reuben.
Okay, Nami be this.
The St. Reuben, the journalist, St. Reuben, the musician.
I know what you are doing to me, but you don't know that you are putting me under fire. I'm supposed to. My job is to ask questions, not to be asked. so it's a difficult position. I'm saying, I'm telling you, and you're doing well anyway. Yeah. So one funny thing about me is that that I am what. In fact, you should.
That thing that
you should be the one to describe me, man.
People know there are things about you people actually don't know. One fun thing or one other surprising thing that if you say, people will like, no, it can't be this. Either good or bad. But we don't. Maybe I don't know if you want to say the one that is a challenge or something that will encourage people.
You know what? I have traveled almost everywhere in the world, though. But I fear flight. I have phobia for flight. I see me like this. If I'm traveling the next day, I don't sleep. And if I'm inside the plane, I can't eat, I can't sleep. Okay. but small, I'm overcoming it now that I've been traveling a lot these days.
Okay, now we have few minutes to go. Can you share a memorable, as a veteran journalist, a memorable on-air or on-stage moment, something funny or unexpected, like surprise, like you are on air and something is happening and it takes you by surprise, you don't know what to do at that moment. What are those moments? You should have one or two moments like that.
Okay.
That will be embarrassing,
Okay, I remember when I was covering World Food Day. I can't forget World Food Day. And as we're going, we're waylaid by armed robbers.
Oh my God.
We're attacked by armed robbers. They say, bring her for money, bring her. So then we lay down the tricycle, they collected our money. When they left, I did a story about myself.
Wow.
I did a story about my situation. So I reported myself on air.
Oh, that is good. And what word of advice would you like to give young generation who actually wants to be journalist or want to be, maybe 2 minutes or 1 minute now, who want to be a musician.
Okay. Well,
especially gospel music.
Yeah, both of this profession.
One sentence.
Both of this profession, you learn them quite okay, but it's also inbuilt a little. So you cannot just say, okay, let me become a journalist without you loving it. You must love them before you can become them.
That is interesting. And finally,
before you finally, I may not have an opportunity again.
Okay.
Joy, you joined us about 9 months ago.
6 months ago.
And 6 months ago.
Yeah,
and
that.
You are really, really, really doing well. Nobody has commended you here, but let me comment. You have really, the way you have been harassing me with questions and the way you have been presenting the program, honestly, keep it up.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we have a lot of questions, but because of time, what next for St. Reuben Okala?
What next?
Either in media, music, or in the secular world?
Yeah, right now I'm in Captain TV, but I don't know whether I'm doing good enough for CNN to say, okay, hey, is that Reuben Okala? I say, yeah. Please, can you come over to be one of our workers, our staff in the US, Washington? I'll say, okay, why not? Here I come. So maybe one of these days CNN will call me or BBC will call me to come and join them. And then I'm looking forward for the day that I'm going to sing for the king.
Which king? The president?
No, not our president.
Okay. King Adebayo.
King Charles.
King Charles. I wish you all the best. Honestly, Mr. Reuben Okala, it's been a pleasure having you on this show. And by the grace of God, we shall really have you again. Thank you so much for coming on air on Generations Gist with Joy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joy. You're doing very well. Keep it up. You harassed me today, but no problem.
Thank you so much, sir. It's a vibe today with Mr. Reuben Okala, the man St. Reuben, broadcaster by day, gospel minister by soul. We learned, we laughed, and yes, we caught a few Holy Ghost goosebumps. Thanks for hanging out with me once again on Generations Gist with Joy. That is all we have time for on this week's episode of Generations Gist with Joy. If you love today's gist, follow us on all our social media platforms. Click like, hit subscribe buttons, and share. For inquiries or sponsorship, please send us an email on generationsgistwithjoy@gmail.com. Until we come your way, same time next week, remember your generation is your identity. Let's uplift one another and always stay patriotic. I am Joy Onu. See you next week.
The world is no longer a global village. It is a neighborhood. Generation come and go, but the gist they start lingers. The platform that sustains those gists is here. Be a part of the conversation on Generation Gist with Joy. From policymakers to politicians, medical personnel to traders, labor leaders to students, the young and the old. It's Generations Gist with Joy.
It's your generation, it's my generation, it's our generation.
Come, let's tag along on Generation Gist with Joy. Please join us.